Get ready for this week's episode of GT Kids Online. If you've been following our online series, you'd remember that last week we showed a video that involved some of our church families. And I challenged all the kids out there watching to send in actions to Yancey's song, Strength and Shield. I said that I would choose a video that would be featured today, right here. So without further ado, here are the winners and the video challenge for Strength and Shield. Congratulations to our winners! I'll be sure to be in touch with you in the next day or two to arrange to get your gift card to you. Today we're working on lesson 4 of our series, The Lord is My Shepherd, and we've been working on memorizing Psalm 23, the whole chapter. Are you ready to review verses 1 to 3? Let's do it together. Psalm 23, verses 1 to 3. The Lord is my shepherd, I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows, He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength, He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to His name. In just a few minutes, we'll add verse 4. It's a pretty long one, so you'll need to pay close attention and do a little more practicing at home this week to get a handle on it. But I'm confident that you guys can tackle it, no problem. Today's lesson is about walking through the valley, and our verse is about not being afraid. We actually did a lesson about fear a few weeks ago, but that's okay, because it's a very important topic for both kids and adults. And our worship song is very fitting for the memory verse as well. It talks about how even though we walk through the valley, we don't have to be afraid, because we are never alone and He never lets go.
Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, Your perfect love is casting out fear. And even when I'm caught in the middle of the storms of this life, I won't turn back, I know You are near. And I will fear no evil, for my God is with me. And if my God is with me, whom then shall I fear? Whom then shall I fear? Oh no, You never let go, through the calm and through the storm. Oh no, You never let go, every high and every low. Oh no, You never let go, Lord, You never let go of me. And I can see the light that is coming for the heart that holds on, a glorious light beyond all compare. But there will be an end to these troubles, but until that day comes, we'll live to know You here on the earth. And I will fear no evil, for my God is with me. And if my God is with me, whom then shall I fear? Whom then shall I fear? Oh no, You never let go, through the calm and through the storm. Oh no, You never let go, every high and every low. Oh no, You never let go, Lord, You never let go of me. You keep on loving and You never let go. We're singing, oh no, You never let go, through the calm and through the storm. Oh no, You never let go, every high and every low. Oh no, You never let go, Lord, You never let go of me. Yes, I can see the light that is coming for the heart that holds on. There will be an end to these troubles, but until that day comes, still I will praise You. Still I will praise You. Oh yeah. Oh no, You never let go, through the calm and through the storm. Oh no, You never let go, every high and every low. Oh no, You never let go, Lord, You never let go of me. Oh no, You never let go, through the calm and through the storm. Oh no, You never let go, every high and every low. Oh no, You never let go, Lord, You never let go of me. Lord, You never let go of me. Lord, You never let go of me.
Our Bible story is found in Judges chapter 6. It's about a man, a farmer named Gideon. One of his jobs was to thresh wheat. To thresh wheat, a person needs to separate the part of the wheat that people eat from the rest of the plant. The part of the plant that's not eaten is called the chaff, Usually, a person who threshes wheat will do the job on what's called a threshing floor. However, when we look in Judges chapter 6, we find that Gideon is hiding in the bottom of a wine press. He chose to do the job there instead because he was so scared of the Midianites. The Midianites were enemies of the Israelites, God's chosen people. They would come and invade the Israelite farms, including Gideon's, and steal all of their crops and food. So, Gideon was hiding in the winepress while threshing wheat because he was so afraid. Have you ever been so afraid that you wanted to run and hide? I think we all have. All of a sudden, an angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon and says, "Mighty hero, go rescue Israel from the Midianites." Mighty hero? Why would the angel call him a mighty hero? That doesn't make any sense at all. Gideon is not a warrior. He's actually a scaredy cat hiding in the winepress. How do you think Gideon responded to the angel when he called him a mighty warrior? He said, "I am the weakest in my family. How can I rescue Israel?" I think most of us would have to agree with Gideon. He sure was acting like he was the weakest in his family. Gideon isn't the only person who's ever been afraid. You and I can get pretty scared too. Sometimes we face difficult things in our lives and all we feel is fear. Just like Gideon, we probably feel there's no way we can do what God is calling us to. But this is not the end to Gideon's story. The angel said to Gideon, "You don't have to be afraid. God will be with you." Isn't that awesome? The reason Gideon didn't need to be afraid was because God was with him. He wasn't alone. And you know that's the same thing for you and I. Our verse today is a good reminder of that. Let's have a look at it. Today's verse says, "Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me." Psalm 23:4. Let's repeat that. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. Psalm 23:4. When you're going through a difficult time and you have the Lord as your shepherd, you can know that He's always with you. And that is what we're going to dig into today.
Does it have the power? See if you can tell which items have the power to perform different tasks. Stand up if you think that this paper towel has the power to hold a brick. Sit down if you think it does not. Power. Stand up if you think that this string has the power to hold this weight. Sit down if you don't think so. Fail. Stand up if you think this hammer can crush this rock. Sit down if you don't think it can. Fail. Does this squirt gun have the power to knock this box over? Stand up if you think so. Sit down if you think not. Power. Thanks for playing. Does it have the power?
What makes you afraid? Spiders? Snakes? The dark? Whatever it is, most likely it's nothing compared to some of the valleys that you go through in life, like sickness, disease, divorce. These are the things that really make us afraid. Our verse in Psalm 23 tells us that As sheep who belong to God, we will definitely walk through our share of valleys. Problems come, and they can really make us afraid. When we find ourselves in a valley, it's important to remember the words of Psalm 23:4. It says, "Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid." There's a very important word to pay attention to there: through. It's important to remember that dark valleys of life are things that we will go through. We won't be in the valley forever. Our Good Shepherd is leading us through the dark valleys, and we don't have to be afraid. Why? Well, let's look at 3 reasons why we don't have to be afraid that are found in Psalm 23:4. The Good Shepherd uses his rod to protect us. Psalm 23:4 says, "Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me." This is something that could look like a shepherd's rod. It was a weapon. The shepherd used it to swing against lions and bears and other wild animals that would try to come and eat the sheep. The shepherd used this rod to defend and protect the sheep. God protects and defends us against our enemy, the devil. He's more powerful than any sickness, disease, bully, sadness, or any other issue that the devil will try to attack us with. The reason we don't have to be afraid when we walk through the darkest valley is that God has a big rod, and he's not afraid to use it. The second reason is the Good Shepherd uses his staff to bring us closer to him. Psalm 23:4 says, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me." The rod protects, but the staff comforts. The staff has a curved end because the shepherd would use it to reach out and to gently grab the sheep's neck and to pull the sheep in close to him. When the sheep would get scared, the shepherd would pull them in close to comfort them. That reminded the sheep of something that's actually the third reason we don't have to be afraid. You don't have to fear. You are never alone. God is with you when you walk through the darkest valley. It may feel like you're all alone, but you're not. When you remember that you have God with you, then you don't have to fear. When God is near, fear disappears. Let me show you what I mean. You see this water? It's going to represent fear. Let me drink just a little to show you that it really is just water. Now this cup, it's going to represent you and me. When we walk through dark valleys of life, sometimes fear comes into our lives and it fills us up. And we feel like there's nothing that we can do about it. Suddenly, we're full of fear and we feel helpless. Here's what we have to do. Remember that you are not alone. We need to pray that God will pull us close and comfort us. He will take the fear completely away. Isn't that awesome? You don't have to fear when you walk through the darkest valley because you are never alone. The Good Shepherd is always with you. Let's close our eyes and pray together. God, we thank you for the lesson today that we are never alone. And even though there are times that we go through things that can be scary, there can be times that we're afraid, we know that you're with us, that you protect us, and that you draw us close. So God, I pray that everyone that's listening today, they will hold on to that truth. And as they go through whatever it is that they're walking through today, that they will draw close to you and depend on you, our Good Shepherd. In your name we pray. Amen.
There were times we were so afraid, so many years we had lost our way, but we would hold on to your promise. Your mighty hand would deliver us, a guiding light through the wilderness, and we would hold on to your promise. You said, I am the rock that you stand on. I am your light and salvation.
I hope you've all enjoyed our time together today. I miss seeing you all face to face, but it helps that we can connect through our online services, Zoom parties, and Family Life Ministries challenges. Be sure to check out the GT Family Life Ministries Facebook page this week for more activities. Before you go, we need to do one more thing. Let's have a look at all 4 of our verses. Psalm 23, verses 1 to 4. The Lord is my shepherd, I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. He renews my strength. He guides me along right paths, bringing honor to his name. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid. For you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. This week, remember, you don't have to be afraid. And if you do start feeling that way, feel free to give me a call and be sure to review your verse. I'm praying that every one of you has an amazing week. See you all next week right here on GT Kids Online.